Chapter 29, The Lost Diadem. Um, it's Neville, but doesn't look like Neville. His hair is longer. He looks like he's been um, put through the ringer, basically. He's got a bunch of scars and he's been beaten up. You can tell he's got a black eye, all this stuff. Kind of look like what Hagrid was looking like at the beginning of, I think, the fifth book or the fifth book. Kind of like that. So you can tell he's been through it. And so they obviously start catching up and go into the portrait. Neville lets Aberforth know that more people will be coming, and then Harry just lets him know, I can't thank you enough. You saved our lives twice now. And he just said, all right, just make sure everyone is okay. And as they're walking through the passage onto Hogwarts, they just start catching up. Neville lets them know what's been going on at Hogwarts and basically says it's not really Hogwarts anymore. Like, basically, they're just kind of rebelling as it's been going through the classes and everything. Now, Defense Against the Dark Arts is not Defense Against the Dark Arts now, it's just the Dark Arts. And Death Eaters are basically teaching these classes. And so now they've been practicing the Crucio Curse, he said, and that made everyone be like, huh? So they've been practicing that in the Dark Arts class. Neville obviously did not participate in that, but Crabbe and Goyle were very happy to participate in that. And Neville got a good beating from not participating. And also the history of Muggles class was taught by another Death Eater. They were obviously spouting, Muggle hate and all that stuff. So Neville got another beating for how he spoke up in that class, and eventually they just decided. Well, Neville left before anything happened to him, but he thought they would probably try and snatch him and take him away, since they did try to take his grandma, which most other students, they just tried to take the students and make the parents submit, but they did the inverse with him and tried to take his grandma, and they didn't realize who his grandma was because his grandma put the dude in the hospital, and then his grandma's on the run. So she sent a letter to let Neville know that she's okay, and obviously we know about Luna's dad and everything. Luna's okay. They've been communicating with the little coins that they got from Dumbledore's army in the fifth book, so they're still using that coins for communication, and that's probably why Neville has said more people are coming. And as they get down the passage, they're back in Hogwarts and they realize they're in the room of requirement. And then when they open the door, obviously everyone, shouts hoorays for Harry to be back and Ron and Hermione. Everyone's like, what have you guys been doing? And they can't really say, because it's a task that's been given them by Dumbledore. That's all they say, really. And you can tell as everyone is coming in the room, as they get in there, more and more people start coming in. Now, doors open, and in walks like Fred, George, Dean, and Luna come in. Ginny comes in, which makes Harry pause. He's like, I forgot how good you look. Ginny walks in, she smiles at Harry, and also Cho, Harry's ex, she walks in as well, and Harry's like, oh. So everyone is coming in, everyone's ready for a big plan. They're hoping that Harry has a huge plan, and Harry's like, no, we're not staying. We're just here to find something, and you guys can't help us. And at that point, everyone paused. They were hoping to, that this would be like some like big battle plan or something to take back Hogwarts. And that was not the case. They were taken aback. Neville was getting really angry, actually. He's like, we've been doing all this. I've basically been living on the outskirts of Hogwarts here. And he can just tell. And then Ron's just like, Harry, we should actually have them help us because we don't know what we're looking for, and it'll probably be good for them to be here to help. And at that, Hermione agrees as well. And Harry's like, okay. So they let them know, hey, we're looking for something that belonged to Ravenclaw. I think it looks like a crown, and Luna's like, yeah, it looks like the crown that my dad was making, and yeah. So they asked everyone, and Cho is like, oh, there's a statue in Ravenclaw that has this crown, so you can see what it looks like. And Cho's like, I can take you there if you want. And Harry's like, okay, I'm gonna go with Cho. And at that point right there, Ginny was like, nah. Ginny says, no. I will have Luna take you because I'm not letting you go with Cho. That was kind of funny. Um, and then so Luna takes Harry off to Ravenclaw and they go under the cloak. And Cho was looking disappointed. So yeah, Luna takes Harry to Ravenclaw, and once they get there, like Harry had never been to Ravenclaw, so this is a very new section to him. And once they got there, there wasn't a password like usual. There was a riddle, and this riddle just talked about the phoenix and an egg and something like that. And Harry was like, "We don't have time for this riddle." He was expecting like a password, and then Luna answers the question pretty easily. Basically says, it's a circle of life kind of thing. And once they get in, they're looking around and they see the statue. Um, doesn't really say where Luna goes at this point, but then Harry gets closer to the statue. He can see like the details in the statue, and then he reads a message on there, something about treasure. Wit is a man's greatest treasure, or is man's greatest treasure. And at that point, and he hears a sound behind him, and it's one of the Death Eaters, the sister, I believe, and she's pointing her wand at. Harry has his wand pointed out at her, but it's too late because she already has her hand on her forearm, which is the summoning for Lord Voldemort. And one thing I didn't mention is that Harry had felt his scar prickle, especially when he got to the room requirement several times, and he could feel that Voldemort had already checked on one location of the Horcruxes. He already checked on one, and he was angry. He could feel he was angry, and he was on the move to the next location. So they were running. They were really on the clock here, so they had to really hurry and get this. So now Voldemort's being summoned, and it's not going well.